evaluate like texture versus other elements that relate?
Yeah, there
to
was
taste?
specific
Is this
criteria.
documented, or people just eat the meatballs, give them a thumbs up?
We have documentation on these taste test surveys. Yes.
I'm being particular about this because it's easy to go astray when you're in a low bid scenario.
But if I may, this was the only deviation from the lowest price.
Okay. You mentioned something about butter the other day, or is that not part of this?
Well, that would fall under the dairy bid, which is not part of the commodity. It's commercial.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So we're not talking about that yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, my only thing is because I don't want somebody to say, "Hey, I gave you the lowest bid, and you still gave it to the third lowest bidder." I just want to make sure that the only reason to not give it to a lowest bidder would be if they didn't fulfill some element of the bid requirement. You asked for a brand name. The brand name was provided, and the other two that you're saying purported themselves to be equal to that, you have documentation that they were not determined to be equal.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Captivating stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. John, question and suggestions. Back when this used to be within students and families, this amount of documentation, it used to be on paper, and it was a bear to get through. So what was starting to happen before it was shifted over to contract was, I was asking for just the documentation for the things that didn't come back at the lowest, so we could hone in on that and focus our questions towards those. Because to be honest, with all these documentations, I didn't even pick up on the price differential of this product. So in the future, we might want to consider just having put before us only the things that aren't coming in at the lowest bid. And
Yeah.
It's probably best for us to hone in on. And my question is, what's the price differential between the two products?
Well, between the lowest and the third lowest.
Correct.
All right. I have a meatball price per serving that comes in at 10 cents, 10.4 cents a portion from Tyson, and another company, their price per portion, JTM is the name of the company, comes in at 14.5 cents. And the Made Right product that we selected comes in at 17.4 cents. So it's a few pennies. But if you look at that product, those three products, and you weren't calculating the commodity value within each, actually Made Right would be the lowest price at 49 cents per serving, and their two competitors are higher when you evaluate it on those terms.
So the Made Right is not using the commodities that we purchased, correct?
No, they would be using it. Yes.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Can you clarify? I'm sorry.
It's confusing. I will try to clarify.
Right. No, I know I know we purchase commodities, and I know the commodities go to the processor. Is this processor getting any of the commodities we purchased?
Yes.
Charging us more?
Yes.
So we're paying the highest. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Now
the value of the beef that we send for processing is subtracted from the final bid case price.
Gotcha.
So if you were to look at it without the commodity being part of it, then Made Right would actually be the least expensive.
So in which way are you planning to award this? With or without the commodity?
Well, we award it both ways, because if we have a certain pounds of commodity at Made Right, and we deplete that, and we still want the product, unless we can gather more pounds from the state account, then we would be forced to pay the higher price, which we try to avoid at all costs. But on the commodity price per case, the value of the beef is already subtracted from the total cost.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lombard, do you have any questions?
No, nothing further.
Okay. Since it's just a small group of us here, Mr. Illingworth, do you have any questions?
No.
No. Mr. Benahan?
No, no questions, sir.
Okay. All right, then I would seek a motion to refer to the full board a recommendation to award the purchase of commodity food items for the 2020-2021 school year as recommended by the Director of Food and Nutrition Services.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Kolovic. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lombard. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That item has been referred. Next is discussion and possible referral to the Board of Education to award purchase of non-commodity commercial food, paper good, and cleaning supplies for the 2020-2021 school year. Similarly to what we just did, are all of the items in this category being proposed to be awarded to the lowest bidders? Or are there any?
Yes, sir. No, there's no deviation from the low bid on this.
Remember we spoke about butter?
We
other
did.
day?
We did.
You want to get
Let me just get to that page. Yeah. So
so
the butter was awarded to Guida Dairy,
mhm.
and they have the lowest price. We also were awarding it to Wade Dairy in the event that Guida would not deliver that one item, because they only were awarded
Okay.
one item.
To kind of
So it's
fill
only-
you guys in when
It's just pennies difference.
Yeah,
per
no,
pound.
understood. Mr. Garrity and I had this discussion preliminarily, and he was curious whether or not, since Guida only was the lowest bidder for butter, would they even be interested in providing it, since they were not the lowest bidder in any other dairy category. And so he was contemplating maybe just awarding it to Wade. And after discussion, he decided that it's probably not our decision to make whether or not a company can or can't provide. It's up to them to determine if they can't provide. And if Guida wants to say, you know, for this amount of work, so to speak, it's really not worth it, and they want to back out, that should probably be their decision. So that's why he's presenting it the way he is, that he thinks there may be a possibility that Guida may not have any interest in going any further. And in that scenario, the fallback would be with Wade's Dairy for the butter. But you're saying that everything that you're recommending in this category is a low bid scenario?
Yes, sir.
So does anyone have any questions about this category?
Yes, sir. How far is Guida coming with their product?
I'm not sure where they're located now. I know they used to have a facility in Trumbull on Lindeman and Reservoir Avenue, Lindeman. I'm not sure if they're still there.
Okay. Yeah, no, the reason I was asking is because we had before issue a supplier from Jersey or something like that sometimes had trouble getting here, and it was one of the reasons.
Actually, they were the low bidder again on our milk supply. That's Cream Land Dairy out of New Jersey, and believe it or not, they have not really had any delivery issues. And when they've been supplying milk to Bridgeport for a few years now, and we really haven't had any delivery issues other than maybe late deliveries on occasion when there's a new driver and he has to learn the route. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it sounds like a good backup plan. What's the differential on the price of
On which item?
the butter?
Between Wade and Gaida.
Correct.
Hold on, I could tell you in a second here. Okay, so Guided came in at $2.54 a pound, and Wade was $2.60 a pound. So it was only a nickel per pound.
Okay, thank you.
And again, I would recommend that you just get in touch with Gaida when this is all done, and or maybe even do it before the board meets tomorrow and explain to them what the scenario is, and do they want to maintain their bid or not?
Okay,
Take
we'll
it from
do.
there. And then they may say, we have other customers in the area. It's really not a problem. Or they may say, yeah, you know what, it's not worth it, and back off.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Lombard, do you have any questions?
Yeah, how many different companies are providing the different dairy products? You got Wade's, Gaida, the other Crema Lakes,
And Cremoland. Those were the only three
Cremoland.
bidders. Yeah, even though
So-
we contacted other dairies, they did not bid.
So it's a mixture of all three of them then?
Correct. There were some awarded to each, except the Gaida Dairy, really only one would be awarded one item, which is the butter.
Got it.
And we're not a big user of butter, so as was discussed, they may decide that unless they have a truck in the area every day, that they wouldn't be able to fulfill that. But I will have an answer for you tomorrow.
Now, for both of these categories, what's the order of magnitude? Like for each of these, like you're going to issue a purchase order to each of these companies for the commodity and the non-commodity, and you're going to buy against it. It's not guaranteed that you're going to exhaust the purchase order, but what's the order of magnitude that each vendor would be awarded between what and what?
Could you give me a specific category?
Any of them, like could it be as small for any of them? Could it be as small as $1,000 or as high as 100,000?
Yeah. So what we would do is we would forecast how many times we menu a particular product, and the forecast would, of course, require a calculation on what we plan to buy overall from a particular processor or vendor, and then do a purchase order based on that total amount.
Right. But I mean, do you have an order of magnitude that it could go up to? Or that it would never exceed?
No, we would budget and do our purchase orders based on our projections. So they vary from thousands of dollars down to low numbers in the thousands.
And
In
what's
most
the
cases.
highest you've ever seen a purchase order go?
Well, our dairy, we spend quite a bit of money on our dairy products, and I don't have that at my fingertips, but I can provide
Order of
it.
magnitude, would you break 100,000? Is that possible?
Oh, yes.
$250,000?
Uh,
Or is that starting to get too high?
I don't have the information in front of me to answer that question
Okay.
accurately, so I
You
can
may want
answer that.
to be prepared for tomorrow to be able to say that you've never seen a PO be issued for more than X amount of dollars or less than X amount. And I think that would give people an understanding of, the order of magnitude that any one of these companies would be getting business from us.
Understood.
Okay. And just in general, what's the total budget for these two items?
Give me 1 second. I can probably give you information on what we spent year to date. Okay, year to date, we've spent, let me see the first date, from August 31st of 2019 through our current usage, our total expenditure was $606,866.43. So $606,866.43.
For both categories? Or just
This would be all the milk purchases that we've.
Okay. What about the other one that we just approved? Would that be comparable?
Which one would that be, Mr. Weldon?
The commodity.
Oh, the commodity is divided amongst a number of different vendors and processors.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like the total program. How much money did you spend in all your commodities?
Okay, well, the entitlement dollars that we have to purchase raw commodity exceeds $1 million.
Okay.
And then when we purchase the finished product throughout the school year, I don't have that information at my fingertips because it's divided amongst many different processors, but it's a substantial amount of money that's in the millions.
Okay. Again, if you want to, look it up between today and tomorrow, I think it's good for people to have an understanding of the size of this
Yeah, I can have a break.
of the nutrition program.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. So, does anyone else have any questions, Mr. Lombard, Mr. Kolovic,
No.
No, sir.
Mr. Illingworth,
No.
Mr. Benahan?
No, sir.
Doesn't look like anyone else has joined us. So, on that note, I will seek a motion to refer to the Board of Education with a recommendation to award the purchase of non-commodity commercial food, paper good, and cleaning supplies for the 2020-2021 school year. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lombard, seconded by Mr. Sokolovic. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, so ordered. So these items
Thank you.
will be addressed at tomorrow night's special meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Or before we do that, does anyone have any other ideas of any information that Mr. Garrity might want to have at the ready tomorrow beyond what he's talked about tonight? No? Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Sokolovic. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lombard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Time is noted as being 6:31 p.m.
Thank you.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good night.
See you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.